Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and this is my video detailing the entire review of MagicCon Chicago in 2025. So, a couple things I want to go over today. This isn't going to be any like fancy edited video or anything like that. It's really just going to be me talking about what I think MagicCon Chicago did really, really well is maybe a few things that even necessarily weren't like bad per se, but just things that I wish were a little bit different. Overall, though, in terms of my overall feelings with how the event went, I think it was fantastic. It was great. There was just so much to do, which I'm going to go into detail on everything that there was to do. Kind of talk about, how much it was for the price to be able to do some of these things, as well as talk about some of the artists and just kind of everything. So let's go and hop into it here because there's a lot to talk about. And if it sounds like I'm tired, it's because I am. As of the recording of this video, I was at Chicago yesterday and we got back pretty late last night. So I'm very, very tired from this. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and talk about it. So first thing I want to mention is the event layout. I felt like the layout was much better this year. So first year, it was really just on one big floor. And it wasn't like too tight, but the biggest issue was from the previous year was there's the big stage. So for those who don't know, like they do all these like live commander games with like the professor and they do all this live presentations, which is great, but it's extremely loud. And when you have the big stage right next to like the main event play area and the players can't even hear each other like playing, that's a big issue. But this year, so it's two floors and all the play area was downstairs, which worked out so well. It also made the event feel so much bigger. There was definitely way more people this year, but it was nice that all the people that were playing like for stakes were all downstairs, and then there was free play upstairs. There was plenty of free play, and then as well as the Pro Tour was going on, but the Pro Tour was in a separate room, which was great as well. But overall, I feel like it was the layout was fantastic this year. You had your artist corner, you had all your like different vendors and stuff like that. You had like your creator central, you had your meet and greet area. It just worked out really well. I thought the layout was fantastic this year, so overall pretty happy with how the overall layout of the event was. Next thing I want to talk about, excuse me, a little bit of a cough, things to do. So, a lot of different things to do. Free and not free. So obviously there's the ticketed play event. So you had your main event, which was $125, but part of it is because it was sealed. Excuse me. So you had that. You had like all your side event ticketed play, which how it goes was, so for instance, I played in a Pioneer Win-A-Box and it was $25 and you buy it in increments of $5 vouchers. So if you're just going to jam side events all day, you can just buy like a ton of vouchers and then, okay, I'm going to play in this sealed event. So this is 5 or this is 7 or 10, depending on which one you're playing in. They offer a number of different formats, which is cool. So if you like standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Pauper, if you want to do Aether Drift draft, if you want to do Mystery Booster draft, if you want to do Innistrad Remastered draft, whatever, they offered a whole bunch of different ones, which was really, really cool. Then there was obviously some more specialty events, like there was a Dan going on. There was like your cup format. So your cup is basically like it's a competitive event, but it's not an RCQ though. You play for like a top 8 mat and a trophy, but it doesn't qualify you for any event. They did that for all the main constructed formats. And then obviously there was the 2 main event sealed PTQs where it was sealed. So you just open up your packs and play. And then the day 2 format was draft, which actually one of the people that I went with, Ryan, who is a friend of the channel, made it all the way to the finals. Huge shout out to him. He did such a great job. So definitely shout out to Ryan on that. But that's at least the ticketed play things to do. There obviously was the artist corner, which I'm going to talk more about artists in the next section of this video. There was a whole bunch of free stuff to do as well, which is cool. I know that there was like the family area where you could like, there was like deck box stuff going on. There was like some pack wars going on. There was like a bunch of scavenger hunts going on all around. Like you had to scan these QR codes for Fibblethip. Obviously, a ton of different vendors, which I'm going to talk about the vendors. Actually, I'm going to write that down on my list here. That was one thing I wanted to talk about too. So I'm doing this all in real time here. But anyways, so there was so many things to do, which was fantastic. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is the artist, just artists in general. So with the artists, for those who don't know, obviously you can get like cards and playmats and stuff signed by the artist of your choice. There were so many different artists this year, a lot of the really big ones in Magic, as well as some that don't normally come to the United States or do a lot of signings, which is cool. Most notably like Svetlin Velenov, who did the Thunderball Hellkite art that's right there. I also did get the Ripjaw Raptor as well, which I'll probably talk about those in a later video, and I detail those actually when my MagicCon Chicago vlog comes out later on, which will be after this video actually comes out. But one thing I want to talk about with the artist prices is all of them were different, which makes sense, you know. So like, for instance, like Ryan Pancoast, his signatures are starting at like $2, whereas someone like Svetlin's were up to $10 each. I would say on average, most of them were $4 to $5 each, but it really depended on the artist. I know like RK Post and Ryan Pancoast are much cheaper, and then obviously like your Svetlin Velenovs, I want to say Chris Ron, Elena Danner were a little bit pricier. A lot of it depends on what signature you get, but they're all a little bit different on that. So just keep that in mind if in the future, if you decide that you want to get some cards signed by the artist, you know, just make sure you kind of know, because if you know, want to get this whole fistful of cards and all of a sudden you see it's like a $10, you see it's a $10 signature piece, it's like, oh my God, do I really want to spend all this money on getting my cards signed for $10 a piece? So do kind of keep that in mind. The other thing with the artists is the lines were very, very long, as they normally are. Usually they're a lot slower on Friday, which is why on Friday I spent almost the entire day getting most of my signatures done, so that way I could just do whatever I want on Saturday and Sunday. I know at least with Elena Danner, she has a really nice system. It's with a punch card. So basically they give you this card if you show up earlier in the day, and then it basically says, hey, come back at, you know, the circled time, which for us was 3 p.m. So that way you can go enjoy MagicCon Chicago. You don't have to stand in line the entire day, because I did that the previous year and it sucked. So I really hope that more artists kind of adopt that in the future, just so that way people don't have to stand in line for hours. I don't know. I think it's a really good idea. So I think Elena Danner is definitely ahead of the time a little bit here. But yeah, overall, these artists were great, fantastic, got a lot of stuff signed, and it was great. And if you want to, again, I know I'm advertising for my MagicCon Chicago vlog, but once that comes out, you're definitely not going to want to miss that. It's going to be really, really cool, and I'll be able to show off all the cool stuff that I got signed. So that's what I want to talk about with the artists. The vendors is really the last thing I want to talk about. So many different vendors, not even just Magic cards. There was pins, which actually I should have mentioned the pins thing under the things to do. There were pin traders everywhere, all over the entire event. People were trading pins and selling pins. I know Audrey was doing like crazy amount of stuff with pins. You get all these free pins, like, oh hey, you took a picture with this Sarkon, okay, you get a free pin. Oh, you did this, you get a free pin. You get a pin, you get a pin, you get a pin. Everybody gets a pin. And then a bunch of people were just doing pin trading in general, which is really, really cool. I feel like, you know, if you're just like a casual Magic player, or maybe you're not, like if you're just like a Magic collector and you're not really, you know, so much into the playing part, it's something to do, which is really, really fun, and it's free. You know how many free pins you get just going to this event? It's crazy. But anyways, so the vendors, I feel like the card prices really depended on the vendor. Some of them were pretty okay. Most of them were about like the value of the card, but I know some vendors, most notably like the big ones, so like Star City Games, your Card Monster games, some of their prices were really high, probably just because it was like, some of them were pre-order prices for their newer cards. So I know, like, for instance, I was looking for Regal Imperiosaurs. It's about a 50-cent rare from Aether Drift, but the vendors, those big vendors, were charging like $4 a piece for the Regal Imperiosaurs, which was like its pre-order price. So it was a little frustrating trying to find some of the newer cards that I needed to play in some of the side events. But as a whole, I felt like the prices were pretty okay. Honestly, I think your bread and butter is going to vendors and looking in their heavy play section, because a lot of the time it's all sleeve playable. And if you're just looking for cards to just, like, you know, because it's cheap, I mean, honestly, that's the way to go. Go look at the heavy played section. You can find some really, really good deals in that section of cards. But as a whole, I feel like the vendors were pretty good. There's so many different ones, but again, it's not just Magic cards. If you're like a dice collector, or you like your bags, or like Ultra Pro and Ultimate Guard and heavy player there, so if you want deck boxes and sleeves and all this cool different stuff, there's so many options there, which is just amazing. So honestly, it really was just dealer's choice in terms of what you really wanted for the most part. There's so many different options. And then obviously, like, you can sell your cards there. Some are better than others. Me personally, I like to go to Card Monster games when it comes to selling. I like Star City Games just because I can get store credit, and then you can just order from their website, which is pretty cool. But those are the ones I usually recommend. I know 2A Magic is generally okay. I know that they don't charge as much, but they take like basically anything for the most part. So if you just have like a bunch of random like bulk rares, they'll take them. It's probably they're only going to give you like a quarter, 50 cents each. But if you just have a whole bunch of rares that you have no use for, it's definitely something to keep in mind on that. At least that's everything I can think of with the vendors. I'll mention the D&D thing. I didn't do any of the D&D, but I know some of the people I went with did the D&D stuff, and they said it was fantastic. They said they had a great time. Just overall, felt like the DMs were pretty solid on that. So if you like to go for the D&D stuff, it sounded like it was pretty good. So I would say that I would recommend that. The people I went with, I trust them quite a bit when it comes to stuff like that. But overall, that's really all I've got. So the last thing I want to mention, though, is it worth it to go to the event? I would say yes. So I bought my pass early. I bought the weekend pass, and it was like about $100 after it was all said and done. I would say it's worth it just based of all the free stuff that you get. I mean, like some of it you kind of pay for, like you pay for your Everson's Pilgrim promos and your dice. But with all the free stuff that you get, I would say it's pretty worth it. It's a very welcoming environment for sure, so don't feel like you're not welcome at MagicCon. Everyone's welcome at MagicCon. But it was just so much fun. Like it's way bigger than what the Grand Prix used to be back in the day for those who maybe have never been to a MagicCon or even Magic Fest during that little bit of time. They're so much bigger than that, so much better. If you like to, it doesn't matter what you like to do. Like if you're a competitive player, it's a great place. If you're a casual player, it's great. If you like to play Magic, but you really like doing like all the things that aren't playing Magic specifically, it's also great for you as well. Like if you just want to go and get cards signed and like meet like a bunch of content creators and stuff like that, and if you just like to do stuff like that, it's great. Honestly, it's fantastic. You don't even have to get the weekend pass. You can just get like a day pass, or you can just get like Friday, Saturday or something like that. You can do whatever you want to do. But overall, I really, really enjoyed the time I had at MagicCon Chicago. I think it was fantastic. They did it last year, and I went, and then they did it this year, and I went, and I hope they do it again next year so I can go again to that. So, but overall, it was fantastic. So I guess if you have any other questions about MagicCon Chicago, just let me know in the comments section, like in terms of, my opinions on anything like that. So in case there's anything I might have missed, you can just let me know, and I'll get back to you on that. And also let me know if you were at MagicCon Chicago, like what were your thoughts on the event overall? I thought it went pretty good, but maybe if you have some differing opinions on that, just go ahead and let me know in the comment section below what you think. So, all right, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching this video. And again, feel free to, leave some questions in the comment section below, and hope to catch you in the next video.